All right, welcome to the first episode of World Race Talks. Yeah, I am here with my team, and I am your host, Wesley Chandler. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm also the captain of the ship. That's right, exactly. Maddie knows it. So yeah, we just want to talk about how do we draw near to God? How do we just abide more in Him? How do we actually have a good relationship with God? Because we're already in month 7 of this world race, and we want to just be able to share encouragements to you about what we've experienced this month of really spending time with God and what He has worked through in us and through our lives. And so, who wants to go first?
Why not? I'll
go. Okay.
Here we go. All right. So, as most of you know me, my name's Daniel. The world race is super awesome because it leaves an opportunity to ask the Lord. So what that looks like in a practical setting for me is to really sit in prayer and actually look at what God has done in your life, and then accordingly direct your path throughout the day from what the Lord puts on your heart. Whether that's go talk to somebody in purple rain shoes, or whether that's go to this weird cafe that nobody's at and have an awesome divine appointment. I mean, it looks so normal that I think we get hyped up and we forget how easy it is to just ask the Lord and know that the Spirit's going to guide us.
That's good.
Court, that's for you.
I'm so proud of you for being done already. Wow! Wasn't ready.
Under 2 minutes, right?
Under 2 minutes,
Under 2
yeah.
minutes, that's pretty good.
My name is Courtney. Or Court.
Or corny.
Or Corny. Or Cornflakes.
Can't say the T around here.
They can't say the Ertney part, so I've been corny for the better part of 7 months. Yay. Or no. So this month has been a very not structured. So we've been able to just kind of go around the city and just ask God where you want us to be. And that has been so cool. I think the coolest part for me has just been, it's month 7. I'm tired. We're all really tired. Everyone's worn out. It's starting to get to the point where we've been out longer than we have left, which is weird. But it's also oh my gosh, we have so much left. But it's been really cool to just be able to sit with God and just this month be able to decide how much time I'm going to spend, because I have the time to spend with Him. But it's also been really cool. Here I am at the end of month 7, and I am so much more on fire and so much more ready to finish this out strong. Something my mom always says to me is finish strong. And it always annoyed me, but I love that so much now because, I could be exhausted and ready to be done and just be oh, great, another ATL month next month. But instead, God has just poured so much grace and been hey, you're excited, you are full of life, you are full of me, and you have so much to offer. And so just getting to proclaim now and for the next 4 months, God, do it again. Fill me up more so that next month I'm even more excited, so that next month I'm able to share even more of you and give whatever country I'm in a bigger piece of you. So that's what I've learned this month.
Cool.
Good work, Court.
Thanks.
Hi, my name's Sarah, or Deb. This month for me, God told me to be fearful and in a sense of awe. And so just here where we are this month, just being in the nature and being surrounded by Him has been so cool. And just getting to meet people where they're at, whether that's established ministries and just walking alongside them by encouraging them, or whether that's stepping into working with people who are Christians, but how can we help them get a ministry started, or what that looks like to just kind of push them into that direction. Definitely for divine appointments of just having faith, and even when you think that you're not called to do that, God equips you for it. And so just stepping into that and saying, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but you called me to do it, I'm gonna do it. And it may look like doing bar ministry or reaching out to people at the hostel. So each day looks different, but this month has just taught me a sense of what it is to be fearful of God and awe of the things that he can do when you just let him do the things he's supposed to do and not take control over it.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
Hi,
Team leader Maddie.
my name is Maddie. Just gonna let you know I'm also the captain of this ship.
Oh boy.
I'll be the host then.
Man, but so much of this month has really just been me changing a lot of my perspective and understanding what it is actually like to draw near to the Lord. And I don't think that you can ask him what he has for you if you're not willing to draw near.
Yeah, that's so good.
And I don't think that you can really live into community or see what the mission is that he is giving you unless you choose to draw near to the people around you. And I think so much of this month has been letting go of my expectations and wondering, what can we produce? What can we say we've accomplished today? And just trusting that, like, not only do our prayers change the place here, but knowing that, like, we have left an impact and knowing that the big splash that we've made, like, the ripples are going to continue to impact this community. And the Lord goes behind everything that we do. He will send people here in the future. He has people here who are building his kingdom. And whether we're here just to encourage them or love on them, we've just been given the incredible opportunity to ask him what he would have for us and choose to be obedient in that. And so much of, I think, drawing close to him and drawing near to the Lord is being willing to even be open to what he has to say and what he wants to show you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so good.
So good.
Yeah, so mine's pretty much like very similar. I came into this like ATL just thinking about like ATL means ask the Lord. So it's just like having all these ideas about like what I would think doing kingdom work would look like. Then I got really sick in the first week and I couldn't do anything. But I realized like God has brought me into this part where he didn't want me to put my worth into what I do. He really wanted me to show me a new way of like having abundant life that is not just found in like my adventures. Like I actually had a big struggle wanting to go do these treks because that really fills me up. But because of my sickness and all these things, I wasn't able to do it. And so I was really frustrated. But it was the cool thing about that was that God actually showed me how I can actually have so much joy and abundant life in the mundane, sitting in like bed, being sick, or on the toilet, which is really bad. But sorry, I told them all the stories about the toilet stuff. It was like it was real. But like seeing these guys like love on me and just me being able to just like, instead of trying to pursue outside, I ended up being able to spend more time with like my friends back at home and just having conversations with them, and even redeeming my like relationship with my family in a sense that I was able to just give them a phone call and just be able to speak about life. And so it's just been really sweet that God had shown me that like, wow, there's another way of like living life that has just been so sweet. So yeah, I guess that has been a huge like learning thing for me, really just putting aside everything you can do. Am I going on for too long? Is that why you're laughing? Putting all the stuff beside and really allowing God to like work in your heart and just being obedient to him. All right, what's so funny?
Court lost it.
Can I tell them?
You got it now.
I just looked over and she's like got her hand all the way back, like can't tell if she's picking a wedgie or if she's scratching her back or what. So back was itchy. It just, if you can imagine, like just her sitting here and it's just like seeing this like.
That got all on camera. You can go back and watch that whole moment. Cool.
30 seconds.
That's awesome. I want to ask another question. I want to kind of get like real and just talk about like what is like your biggest struggle now that you want to like kind of work through, because as followers of Jesus, we're not perfect. We have things. I know I have something that I want to share. So I want to just like go around and just share a little bit of like what you want to like see coming up in the future in the next month, what you want to grow in. Who wants to go?
Absolutely.
Dan?
Yeah, why not?
Starter.
So I'll kickstart this fire. So Something that's really challenging for me, and I didn't think about it before the race, is delegation. Like actually trying to manage your time in team, your time with God, and your time in mission. And that's one of the biggest challenges that I run into because in my core being, I'm actually a performer. So I love to actually do anything and everything to the best of my ability. And that actually has a lot of hinder points, and there's a lot that can go wrong within it because you start to focus on, well, missions is easy for me. Spending silent time with God becomes kind of difficult, and it's actually a hinder block with trying to be a part of community. So having, the wisdom and discernment in how to delegate and like manage my time, I would say is probably the biggest struggle that I face on the race. And it's real, and it's definitely a challenge, and it's super hard. It's hard to talk with the Father and ask for forgiveness for not spending enough time with Him, not actually focusing when you spend time with Him. And I think that weighs heavy on my heart, just with the relationship that I do have with God and how deep the roots are from that. I think, I've really put a lot of worth in mission and in community, and my relationship with the Lord has fallen a little bit since being on the race. So I think that's what I struggle with the most on the race.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for sharing.
Of course. Passing the baton, Court.
Wow.
Well,
Lot to live up to.
following that, no thanks. Okay, got it. We're there. Exactly. We're laying that down.
Yeah.
We're letting that go.
This is a table here.
Yeah.
Bringing it on.
To the table.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of difficult things about the race, but I think the hardest part for me has just been being open about things that are hard. So that sounds almost counterintuitive, like just be honest and real and vulnerable. I am a very independent human being who likes to handle things on my own, and I don't need help. All of the things that I just said are a lie. So, but those are all things that I very firmly held to be true until, how long have we been on the race? 7 months. That's how long.
Yeah.
But really, honestly, in the last 3 or 4 months, just realizing that these are people that God has placed in my life to assist. Not to say that I'm wrong, not to say that I'm incapable or unable to do things on my own, because God did give me that ability to be independent and strong and do those things, but as a help to be better, because none of us are super, super awesome by ourselves, but we collectively are pretty incredible. And just putting those gifts and those abilities together gives us, we're a powerhouse for God, and otherwise we're not as strong. We were not created to be individuals. We were created to be a community and a body of Christ. So that's a big thing for me, of just in next month, just wanting to break down even more walls and just come into next month being completely vulnerable and I have a really bad habit of, I'm super strong at the beginning, awesome about being open and vulnerable and honest, and I'm powerhouse and so much energy, and then give it 6, 7, 9 days, and I'm like, I don't really feel like they need to know that I'm struggling with that. It can wait until I get another burst of energy, and then 2 weeks later, I have all of these things that I haven't told anyone and haven't let people in, and I'm this very frustrated, very hangry, very just not pleasant individual to be around. And everyone's like, what the heck's wrong with you? And I'm like, sorry, I just haven't been vulnerable and honest. And so I see so much of that in myself the last couple of months of starting super strong. And then by the end of the month, I'm on empty. So my goal, or things that I want to see out of next month, is just stay steady. Be super excited and awesome and on fire, but never let that die, and not find myself at the end of the month disappointed in the things that I missed or didn't do because I was cheating myself and my team out of just the honesty and all of Courtney that God has blessed me with, and just holding pieces back. So
Yeah.
Wow. That's so good.
job.
Amen. That's awesome, Court.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sweet about you.
Wow.
It's better. It's like,
It's hard to believe that it's month 7, and before coming on the race, I had this idea of what worship was and what it looked like to be intimate with the Father. And coming on the race has wrecked all of those expectations and boundaries that I had put on it. And so this month specifically, I have been struggling a lot with labels and self-doubt and comparison. And so it's hindered my ability to be intimate with the Father. And so I have decided to pursue inner healing and step into what that looks like once I lay these things down and hand it over to the Father, that I can walk through prayer when I feel the need to put on a label, or when I have the self-doubt or comparison, and what that looks like of being able to lay those down and pray over when I have those feelings, and walk into intimacy with Him by finding my identity and saying, like, hey, I'm not defined by the labels, and who cares about comparison, because you made me to be who I am, and I'm not supposed to be like anybody else on the planet.
yeah.
And just when I have those self-doubts of I'm not capable and I don't have the ability, of walking into like, hey, you're calling me to do this and you equip me to do this, so like I'm gonna walk in confidence. And that's been really hard to walk into and uncomfortable, but it's month 7 and I'm ready to like fully step into it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
How am I supposed to follow that up?
So basically what I just heard is it's month 7, so welcome to uncomfortable.
Yeah. For real.
But it wasn't uncomfortable before.
Yeah. New levels, right?
Lots of challenges, but
Embrace it.
beautiful growth.
Yeah.
Uncomfortability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scale just increases.
It's on a scale of 1 to 11.
We're to 7.
We're at
Oh, we're on
7, yeah.
month 7. I don't know.
But just growing more and more, which is awesome. Yeah.
Dang. Well.
Look at the goats.
Didn't we eat them last night for dinner?
They called them lamb. They called them lamb.
No, it
They
was
were-
goat.
yeah,
Oh, no
lamb
Passover
goat.
lamb.
I
Yeah.
didn't eat it.
They
Mountain
called it
goats.
lamb.
Did
It's
you
okay.
eat goat?
Ew.
I ate everything. It's actually pretty good.
I am not surprised.
Wesley's currently the one recovering from a parasite.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like eating everything. It's like I should probably not do this. Just keep to the safe stuff.
Courtney and I just ate all the naan.
Yeah,
I
but
did
not
eat
great.
so much naan yesterday. I have no
was good.
regrets.
Alright, so
Zero.
you can answer.
Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
good. We need some lightness.
Procrastinating.
Yeah.
Trying to build up. Now he's getting
Yes,
ready to
please.
fire off.
I'll tell you a fun story about naan while we wait.
Please tell us.
Okay, I will. So yesterday we're standing there waiting for our hosts to finish food or whatever. And I look up and they're talking about something. And she turns around and she goes, "We're making naan." And I looked at Sarah and we both went, "Yes! Naan!" And she goes, like walks back to the kitchen.
Yeah.
But every time after that, she'd walk up to us and be like, "Naan's almost ready." We're like, "Yeah, girl."
That's awesome.
Is that enough time?
Sure.
Okay. I'm just trying to help you out.
There enough time?
I think I'll just start talking.
Yeah.
See where the wind takes you.
Man, I think one of the hardest parts about the race has just been seeing the growth in myself, I guess, and just like really understanding, I think on a real level before, for like how much I have needed Jesus in ways I had no idea. Like I always thought that I was like good and fine and like a good person, or like would serve people well and all these things, and like all those things have continued on the race, but I'm still in so much need of Jesus, and I'm in so much need of His grace, because I am someone who is so broken, and I am someone who hurts people because I have been hurt. And just understanding that I can't do it, not only by myself, but I don't want to do life without Jesus. And that has been incredibly humbling, to just understand that in a way that I haven't before. It's been so tangible on the race, just serving people who have literally nothing and yet give their guests everything. And it's like, I have more in my pack and in my backpack, and it's worth more than you will ever probably make in your lifetime. And that's incredibly humbling, to even be able to get to serve and love these people, and really see them the way that Jesus does, and yet still Jesus sees me that way too. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so he's just brought me through a lot of surrender, and that has kind of been my go-to word. And my teammates can probably attest to it.
It's good. It's really good.
It's just really hard to let go, and it's really hard to like literally let the Lord do what he wants to do through me, because I want to have a say in it. I want to take credit for it. I want to be like, hey, because I was here, this thing happened. But it's actually not about that at all. It's actually about the fact that I get to be the person that Jesus changes in the process of all of that. And it's not even by me or through me these things happen. He doesn't need me, but he chooses to use me anyway, as broken as I am. So
That's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, I just want to encourage you, Maddie, that like I've seen that growth. I've seen a lot of that, just like surrender and really just putting that aside, and it's just been super encouraging even for me to see that growth in you. And so it actually kind of comes to like what I've been struggling with about putting my self-worth in what I do. It's the next one is now even more deeper and very difficult, because I find I pretty much work for the approval of man, like all the time for people, and I do things and I always feel like I need to like show it so I can say that like, hey, I've done something. But this next month I really want to focus on just really having an audience of one, just of God, because I'm just starting to scratch the surface of like abiding in God's and being so filled from him. And I just want more of that. I just want to dig deeper, because I've been reading a lot of like these people, these guys who've like pretty much like focused their lives to God, and how much joy they can find out of it. And when they walk around, they're just like filled with so much joy. It just like pours out to everyone. And I feel like I'm just kind of getting there where I'm like, wow, life is so beautiful. And I just want more of that. I just want to be able to like abide in God and really just see how much I can experience from him. Yeah, so but it's a tough one. It's a daily struggle.
it's a tough one, this world right
Yeah, lots of growth, but it's good. I just want to wrap this up with one last question. What is one thing that God has shared with you this month? One encouraging thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dan's got it.
In a shack?
Yeah.
Turn of events? We're gonna
Well,
see
first
how
off,
Okay, sure.
God continually just shows me his love and pours out his grace over my life. I think that one thing that's new that he showed me in India and coming into here in Nepal is how to fully trust in him and what that looks like. A lot of the time we give God our yes, but we actually mean no. And so coming here into Nepal, asking him what to do has just humbled my heart and allowed me to see through his lens in a whole nother facet. Just actually seeing divine appointments come to fruition. I was walking with Wes and we had a day in the life of myself, and it was just an incredible divine appointment. We prayed on camera. We actually had a divine appointment on camera, so we were able to capture the entire event, which I have never actually been able to do. So it's amazing to see what happens when we fully pursue the Lord and when we actually trust in him and give him our true yes, meaning that we actually will follow through with what he gives us. And it's not easy and it's super challenging, but you can just witness so much fruit falling from the vines, and it's glorious. It's incredible how much kingdom is actually on earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's so good.
I'm going to tell you another story about Nan. I'm just kidding. I don't have another story about Nan. Though it would be funny if it did.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Naan is my favorite. I do like naan. All kinds of naan. There's garlic naan. There's plain naan.
Non-naan.
There's butter naan. No, just kidding. Just continuity. Whoa, this month. Really, I say this every month. There's just so much that God teaches any time that your heart is open and you're willing to listen.
Yeah.
He is constantly there saying, "Here, do you want this?" And I don't know. I just feel like on the race we're so open and like, "Yes, give me," and like so ready to receive that it's like every month there's just so much. Boy, but I think a big thing that I have just seen so much is that he is literally ready to give us everything, whatever it is that we biblically that we ask for or that we seek, or when we're seeking after him. He is really wanting to give us those things, but he's never going to give us too much of himself, never going to give us more than we are ready for. And so that's been so cool over the months that I've been on the race to be able to pray it over and over again. Like, okay, I have received that, I've assimilated that, I have accepted your grace on this subject, I'm accepting it on another subject, and now I'm going to accept it on this subject. And then it's like every time I ask it, I get an extra portion. Something that we're going to say for the whole 30 days, maybe not just this month, but something I've also learned is how much our minds are in control of every aspect of our human. So we're not just a physical being, we're not just a mental or emotional being, but we're a spiritual being as well. But all of those parts of our being connect. And there's so many scripture verses that talk about your mind controlling, or allow God to be in control of your mind, or take every thought captive and send it to the Lord. Like, I've always known that those are true, but in India, this team was all there for this. I was healed from my anxiety. And this month has just been so incredible to walk in that freedom, but also just walk in how much my mind is not held captive of like, I am able to be on this boat right now, and never once have I considered the possibility that someone could fall off and hurt themselves or drown. And like, not once have I considered that until the words just came out of my mouth. But I didn't even realize how much freedom I was missing by allowing my mind to be captive. And so I think that's another huge thing I've learned and just gotten to see this month, is how much freedom we are making ourselves miss out on just by accepting our chains, by accepting the things that we think about ourselves and assume are true. We are depriving ourselves of the freedom in Christ and the yoke that is easy by just putting more chains on ourselves because it's what we know and what we're comfortable with. So I have learned that I'm no longer comfortable with chains, and that freedom is way more beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wow.
Cool.
So good. We need a paddle.
That's what I was
We're
thinking.
gonna boat this.
We're almost wrapped
dock
up.
this thing, or
We're about
what?
to crash into land, but
You
we
can see
can
where
wrap
the
this up real
camera
quick.
is. We're
All right.
we gotta go further west.
Yeah, we should go further.
Yeah. Yeah, keep it up, would ya?
Listen, Linda.
I have been pedaling this boat for
crashed.
I tried to get all excited about it earlier, so we're
I'm really
going
See that land? We almost crashed. The
Yeah.
camera had to cut out, so we're gonna do dead
Yeah,
again.
Right there.
What?
The land. Welcome to the boat light.
The boat light.
This is the World Race Boat Edition. A lot of water splashing in the background. That's normal. Don't worry. They drilled holes in it so it wouldn't stay in the boat. Oh, wow.
Oh!
Oh.
They're looking at a water bottle. All right, we're back, guys.
I thought you were talking about the pink flamingo.
Camera just turned off because we recorded for too long, and we almost crashed into land, so we had to pedal out.
Yeah.
So back to Debs.
Back to.
Welcome back from the great commercial break.
Do we need to do the commercial too?
We can add it into the bloopers. So,
Another story about mine.
Oh no, no more.
Maybe they'll make chicken cheese now next time.
The world race is just really, really cool. I have struggled a lot this month with labeling and self-doubt and really comparison too. So that has really hindered intimacy with God, and so I've decided to take a step in pursuing inner healing so that I can better find out who I am in Him and who He says my identity is. And I know, but I don't believe it. And so really just stepping into what that looks like. So in moments that I'm struggling with self-doubt and comparison and what was the other one? Labels. That I can just like pray into that and find who my identity is in Him, and then that will help me to just create a time of intimacy with Him. And so in the moments that I feel that labels are hindering me and restricting me, or that I feel through comparison or self-doubt that I don't have the ability of just being able to know that He's called me to do it and that He's equipped me and to walk boldly in that new lifestyle.
Cool.
Thanks, Sarah. This month. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I think that the hardest part about this month for me has been really redefining what ministry is. And I was on the phone with one of our coaches last week, and she really just challenged me of asking myself the question, is it building kingdom? And if it's building kingdom during ATL, then it is ministry. And I think that there's so much that you have to gain just by letting go of what you expect for this month, or what you are hoping to find out or hoping to discover. Because if you look for those things, you'll find them, but you'll also be missing what the Lord has for you, and you'll be missing what the Lord really wants to show you and change in you in the process.
Wow. I love that.
Courtney thinks it's funny. What happened?
I just looked on the back of here and there's some peanut shells.
Oh, you don't even know whose peanuts those are.
There's a peanut
Oh.
shell.
Oh,
They're not cranberries. Please don't eat them.
She's got a little lint on it.
That's
Yeah.
gross.
I think that's
Okay.
actually an awesome life lesson, Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Or life word, not just a monthly.
Is it
word.
building
I think
kingdom?
that's- yeah.
Yeah.
Is it building kingdom as a daily? I think that's an encouraging just question to self-ask daily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As we live in community, out of community, in hard times, or
Yeah,
even in regular life, whatever
Yeah.
that looks like.
for sure.
That's really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. So for me, it's so cool that God had said that, I don't care about what you do. I just want you to have a relationship with me and just to be able to spend time with Him. And so it's cool to be able to pursue that and actually really put it down, all the things that I'm trying to do, and just to be able to spend more time with Him, because He loves us so much that He actually wants us to spend time with Him. And how sweet it is that our fathers, on our earth here, our biological fathers, they want to spend time with their kids. They want to hang out. They want to just be in their presence. It doesn't matter what the kids are doing. They just want to hang out. And we know that we're protected because our fathers can help us grow and do things. But how sweet is our heavenly Father, who is the creator of this whole universe, what he can just take care of all of us. And because of what Jesus has done, that he paid for everything that I have done wrong. I don't even need to have to try to live up to any standard anymore. God sees me as righteous. He sees me as perfect. And all I need to do is just walk in that. All I need to do is walk in that glory that He has already put me in, because we are now sons and daughters of God. And so that has been a huge revelation to me. And it's just something that I also do want to grow more in, to know that it doesn't matter what I need to do. Yeah, I just need to spend more time with Him. Cool. Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. If this is encouragement for you guys, maybe we'll do another one in the future. Just let us know.
Even if it isn't, we'll probably do another
Maybe, yeah, we'll see.
New grounds, new ministry.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye. Ciao.
Peanut jerky.
Is this recording? Okay, here we go. This is the one. This is the one.
I don't want any more parasites. One on the road race is enough.
One and done, huh?
One and done. You got this? I'm good.
You okay, Corey?
Oh, you want some water?
Very just, woo!
How's that lung feel?